So you want to know more about Jaina. Do you like cosplay? Do you like ice, baby? And do you like being an insufferable know-it-all? Then Jaina Proudmoore, Archmage, is for you.
Ahoy, ahoy, sweet daughter of the seas.
Ahoy, this child be mine. The Admiral's girl, his whole entire world, for as long as stars do shine.
Promise you'll come back?
I'll weather every storm if I know you are waiting for me.
Time to go, Jaina.
I love you, Papa.
Come topside, sweetheart.
Your loving mother will never forgive you, murderer.
Lady Jaina, we've arrived.
Thank you, Captain.
Jaina Proudmoore was born in the seafaring nation of Coltyrus to Lord Admiral Dalen Proudmoore and Catherine Proudmoore, along with her brothers Derek and Tandred. Even as a child, she already showed signs of magical talent, so she was sent to the City of Mages, Dalaran, when it was still connected to the region of Hillsbrad, close to the kingdom of Lordaeron, and not floating in the sky above the sea. As daughter of the leader of a nation, she was of somewhat royalty, and it was custom for neighboring kingdoms to offer their hospitality when traveling. So on her way to Dalaran, when she was about 9, she was introduced to the Menethil family, rulers of the largest human kingdom, Lordaeron, and with that, she met a young prince, Arthas. Arthas and Jaina got along great, as Arthas noticed that she had a tan and freckles, meaning that unlike his sister Kalia, she could be someone he could have fun with, and who wouldn't mind a snowball to the face. He personally escorted her to Dalaran with the intent of sneaking off at night to see one of the internment camps stationed in Hillsbrad for the orcs, the largest being Durnhold Keep, where baby Thrall was being raised. He's gonna be important later. The orcs had previously waged a bloody and ruthless war against the humans, invading from their dying home planet of Draenor, with the aid of the warlock Gul'dan and the mage Medivh. The war chief of the Horde, Orgrim Doomhammer, was defeated and imprisoned in the Undercity, a maze of tunnels beneath the Lordaeron Palace, while the other orcs lost their drive to fight and were rounded up like cattle. Arthas held a grudge against the orcs, seeing them as nothing but beasts, because his best friend, Varian Wrynn, lost his father in the siege of Stormwind City, the first kingdom to fall to the orcs. Jaina, however, saw her mother with her child, and they all looked so sad. They were people, just like us. Jaina quickly became an apprentice of Archmage Antonidas, and would start to draw the eyes of a certain elven prince, Kael'thas Sunstrider, who would always be creeping on her like, "Jaina, hey, you should totally come see my kingdom of Quel'Thalas with me. Stormwind is nothing compared to Silvermoon City. Jaina, please notice me." And Jaina always thought that he's so perfect. Like, dirt wouldn't even cling to his robes as he walked, and he was so talented, and it just made her feel a little stiff and uncomfortable to be around him. She respected him as a mage, but him being an elf, he was so much older than her that it was kinda creepy. Her and another prince were already getting along well enough. Arthas would always come to visit her, and soon they'd be an item, but they'd keep it on the DL with him being a prince and not wanting to start rumors and stuff not being confirmed. At one point, Kael'thas caught them secretly making out, and he was pretty damn salty about it. But he kept his mouth shut. He was decent enough. She would always get invited to holiday parties at the palace, and during Hallows End, her and Arthas snuck up to his room and played Hearthstone, you nasty. During the Feast of Wintervale, though, a few months later, Arthas got cold feet thinking about marriage and all that, and kinda sorta dumped her, saying they should focus on their studies as a mage and a paladin. Jaina was pretty upset about this, but she understood. They wouldn't see each other again for years, until Medivh told Antonidas to travel west, to Kalimdor, because this land, the Eastern Kingdoms, was already falling to the plague. He was promptly dismissed, but Jaina had been listening in, and Antonidas told her to go in his stead. She reunited with Arthas, and the two hunted the former member of Dalaran's Kirin Tor, Kel'Thuzad to stop him from spreading the plague, which killed humans and raised them into mindless abominations, the Scourge, bound to the will of the Lich King. Their journey ended at Stratholme, where Arthas proposed the unthinkable.
Oh no. We're too late. These people have all been infected. They may look fine now, but it's just a matter of time before they turn into the undead. This entire city must be purged.
What? How can you even consider that? There's got to be some other way.
Damn it, Uther. As your future king, I order you to purge this city.
You are not my king yet, boy. Nor would I obey that command even if you were.
Then I must consider this an act of treason.
Treason? Have you lost your mind, Arthas?
Have I? Lord Uther, by my right of succession and the sovereignty of my crown, I hereby relieve you of your command and suspend your paladins from service.
Arthas, you can't just...
It's done. Those of you who have the will to save this land, follow me. The rest of you, get out of my sight.
You've just crossed a terrible threshold, Arthas.
Jaina?
I'm sorry, Arthas. I can't watch you do this.
I've been waiting for you, young prince. I am Mal'Ganis. As you can see, your people are now mine. I will now turn this city household by household until the flame of life has been snuffed out forever.
I won't allow it, Mal'Ganis. Better that these people die by my hand than serve as your slaves in death.
Arthas had already begun to succumb to darkness to save his kingdom, inevitably causing its downfall by deciding to hunt the Dreadlord Mal'Ganis, responsible for the spreading of the plague and taking up the cursed blade Frostmourne. Knowing that Antonidas would not listen, Medivh approached Jaina.
The dead in this land might lie still for the time being, but don't be fooled. Your young prince will find only death in the cold north.
You! Arthas is only doing what he believes is right.
Commendable as that may be, his passions will be his undoing. It falls to you now, young sorceress. You must lead your people west to the ancient lands of Kalimdor. Only there can you combat the shadow and save this world from the flame.
Jaina soon ended up working together with Tyrande Whisperwind, Malfurion Stormrage, Thrall, the orc raised at Durnhold, and the trolls in Tauren to defeat the demon Ankhamond, summoned into this world by Kel'Thuzad and Arthas, who had slain Antonidas and razed Dalaran to the ground. Which Kel'Thas wouldn't let go, by the way. This is the guy you picked. See this? You killed them all. Good job, Jaina. Coulda had me. She and Thrall would become good friends because of his calm nature, and Jaina reminded him of the one person at Durnhold who was genuinely kind to him and treated him like a little brother, and they would hold a tentative peace agreement. This was threatened by her father Dalen, sailing over to the port city of Theramore she had established in order to save her. He still thought of the orcs as savage beasts because orcish dragon riders had killed his son Derek during the war, and he would attack orcish settlements.
Jaina Proudmoore, I am Rexxar. I bear a message from War Chief Thrall, the same War Chief you tried to kill. He is curious as to why your warriors encroach on our lands and threaten us with war.
What are you talking about? I do not seek Thrall's death, nor do I have any intention of betraying the pact we made.
Perhaps. But the fact remains that your ships and your warriors have been raiding our encampments on the mainland. I had to bypass a large encampment just to reach you.
I assure you, I ordered no such attacks. Lead me to these troops, Rexxar. I want to see them for myself. Father, wait!
Father?
The Horde is no longer our enemy. The orcs have their own kingdom now.
You have always been naive, my daughter. You aren't old enough to remember what these monsters did to our homeland. The orcs and their kin cannot be trusted. They must be exterminated like the mongrels they are.
I won't let you do it, Father. You don't understand.
I understand more than you suspect, my dear. Perhaps in time, you will too. Seize them all!
So Jaina, Thrall, and the half-orc Rexxar came up with a plan to maintain the peace between the two factions, which ended with the murder of Jaina's father. Her story after Warcraft 3 and the whole Varian business, which I cover in my Varian/Anduin video because that's a whole nother thing, continues in Wrath of the Lich King. After Arthas had become the new Lich King, after calling Stratholme, betraying the mercenaries that worked for him, leaving Muradin Bronzebeard to die, taking up Frostmourne, killing Mal'Ganis, killing the men who followed him to Northrend and raising them as Death Knights, killing his father, killing Uther, killing Sylvanas Windrunner and raising her as a Banshee, killing Kel'Thas's dad, killing pretty much the entire elven kingdom of Quel'The the Last, raising Kel'Thuzad as a Lich, helping destroy Dalaran, and almost killing both Kel'Thas and Illidan. Jaina blamed herself for all of it. If she had just said something that day and hadn't walked away, then maybe he wouldn't have turned out so bad. In the end, he's defeated and her story continues with Garrosh Hellscream. In the interest of time, because there's a lot on Jaina, this is gonna be a bit more condensed. Garrosh basically has zero chill, hates the Alliance, and with a brilliant mind, he was a ticking time bomb anyways. After being given the title of War Chief from Thrall, because personal reasons, he went and ruined everything. He nuked Jaina's home of Theramore, erasing civilians and soldiers alike. Jaina was saved by the Archmage Ronan Redhair, who named her the new leader of the Kirin Tor as the bomb annihilated him, and he pushed her through a portal to safety. The radiation of the mana bomb caused her blonde hair to turn white, and her blue eyes to glow with a tint of silver. She also got really close to the blue dragon Calicos, because the mana bomb was actually the focusing iris, a blue dragonflight artifact that he was looking for. Jaina pretty much snapped at that point.
Garrosh will get more blood than he ever bargained for!
After Calico snapped her out of her whole "I'm gonna annihilate Orgrimmar in return" phase, she still held on to a sliver of her old peace-loving self and thinking that we can all be friends again. Because she saw how well the Horde and Alliance worked so well together in her city of Dalaran, which was neutral. This changed completely after Aethys Sunreaver, part of the Horde faction within Dalaran, betrayed her trust for Garrosh, helping him steal an artifact known as the Divine Bell right from under her nose, and he almost killed Anduin with it. She threw the traitors into prison and killed those who resisted. She made it clear that peace is no longer an option. Not as long as Garrosh Hellscream leads the Horde.
Ugh, look at them. Already they plot against us. Seize this moment, Varian. Dismantle the Horde.
Guardsmen!
Father, what are you doing?
But some among you fought against Garrosh's tyranny. For that, I am willing to end this bloodshed. But know this. If your Horde fails to uphold honor as Garrosh did, we will end you.
So that was a fucking lie.
He would get shreked by Thrall later on. Then of course, in Legion, an expansion later, Sylvanas seemingly betrayed the Alliance, leading to Varian's death, one of her closest friends, making her pseudo-nephew Anduin an orphan. And then again, an expansion later in Battle for Azeroth, Sylvanas, now War Chief, would completely annihilate the home of the Night Elves. Jaina dedicated herself to the Alliance only and went to Kul Tiras for help.
My wayward daughter returns to the kingdom she betrayed. Why?
I have come to ask Kul Tiras for aid. On behalf of the Alliance.
The Alliance? Ha! Where were they when we begged for their help? When our husbands and sons and brothers were slaughtered at Theramore.
Do not blame the Alliance for my actions.
So you admit it? You admit that you were responsible for the deaths of our men?
I was. But I will do anything in my power to ease the suffering of Kultiris.
Catherine, enforce our laws. The punishment for treason is death.
Do you accept the judgment of your homeland?
I accept your judgment, Mother.
You are no daughter of mine.
Do what you will. She is nothing to me.
Jaina was exiled and sailed to Fate's End, an island off the coast of Kultiris, where people mysteriously vanish into the mist and are dragged into the realm of Thros, the Blighted Lands, a realm ruled by death. Players and Gen Greymane helped uncover the corruption of the Kultiran government and opened Catherine's eyes that she was being played by her best friend at the time, which helped her forgive her daughter.
I'm sorry, Arthas. I can't watch you do this. I should have stopped him. He never would have turned. He'd still be alive.
You have always been naive, my daughter.
Dalen.
I won't let you do it, Father!
I should have tried harder.
You don't understand!
I understand more than you suspect, my dear.
I wasn't strong enough.
Perhaps in time, you will too. Seize them all!
I should have made him listen.
Father! No!
Forgive me.
You couldn't save him from himself.
I should have made him see
Do you really think you can cast aside your guilt so easily?
Father, why wouldn't you listen?
Catherine, enforce our laws. The punishment for treason is death.
Do you accept the judgment of your homeland?
I accept your judgment, Mother.
My daughter. Forgive me. Forgive your father. And forgive yourself.
And eventually, Jaina was named the new Lord Admiral. She then led an assault on the Troll Empire Sandala and slew King Rusticon, hoping to crush the Horde's chances at securing a strong naval force. They only put his daughter Talanji in power instead, and pissed her off majorly. At some point during the war, Sylvanas had Derek's corpse retrieved from the bottom of the ocean and reanimated him using her Valkyr, as she had certain plans for him.
And once his mind has been properly conditioned, we will allow the Proudmoores to recover their long-lost prince, so he can slaughter them in their sleep.
What is this? Why am I? What have you done to me?
Why, Lord Proudmoore, I've given you a chance to reunite with your family. You should be grateful.
Bane Bloodhoof, a friend of Anduin's and Thrall's, secretly brought Derek to Jaina in good faith, showing her that there's still some in the Horde with honor and that wounds can be mended.
My own brother. I had thought better of you, Bane. So tell me, is he the Banshee's puppet? Crammed full of blight? Is he the bomb this time?
Yes. That was the plan. But Bane took me from Sylvanas before I was twisted to her will. I'm still your brother, Jaina. For as long as stars do shine.
Why?
The Horde has a sickness in it. We wage war while the Earth Mother dies. We have forgotten what truly matters, and my heart can bear it no longer.
Sylvanas will kill you for this. And she may not stop with you.
Horde, Alliance. We've come to this crossroad again and again, Jaina. It always falls apart. What's different this time?
We are.
And now, during the Shadowlands, Jaina was taken into the realm of death by Sylvanas to be tormented over and over again until players rescued her. And that's her lore for now. In Warcraft 3, Jaina was voiced by Kerry Gordon Lowry. Since Wrath of the Lich King, she has been voiced by Laura Bailey, and like all the other Warcraft 3 units, her HOTS counterpart shares some of her quotes.
Shh, I'm trying to think here. All I ever wanted was to study. You asked for it. I hate resorting to violence.
Shh, I'm trying to think here. All I ever wanted was to study. You asked for it. I hate resorting to violence.
I hate resorting to violence! Sounds interesting.
Sounds interesting.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
I'll take care of it.
I'll take care of it.
You can slowly tell how much Jaina's mindset is changing, and she's chronologically aging as the way she's voiced slowly starts to change. And she's one of the very few WoW characters in-game to have multiple model changes over the years to reflect her current state.
Do not do anything that would incite the Horde. The War Chief has agreed to see us on good faith.
The lesson is clear. From here on out, I am taking the initiative. Seek knowledge, not power. Knowledge is power! Be careful who you trust. Be careful who you trust. The time for dreaming is over. Turn your vessel back to port and look after your dead, or you will soon join them. Pathetic.
While we're on the topic of her voice, Jaina does not have a Coltiran accent for some reason, and she even makes note of this in WoW.
Funny. I never even realized I had lost my Coltiran accent.
There's one thing I can never forgive Lady Jaina for. Losing her accent.
Jaina's change in personality from Warcraft 3 to MoB gave rise to the idea that Jaina had been replaced by a Dreadlord. Jesse Cox, a famous WoW personality, asked the question at BlizzCon even.
Alright, and one final question. I think it's the most important. Is Jaina a Dreadlord?
Is that a real question?
Yeah, it's on this card right here.
Oh, wow. Yeah, sure she is. No, she's not.
This card is empty.
She's not a Dreadlord.
This has been memed by Blizzard as the WoW Chronicle Volume 2 redirects to Jaina when looking up Dreadlord in the index, and HOTS released the Dreadlord Jaina skin. None of it is considered canon. Ian said so. Jaina was born 3 years before the opening of the Dark Portal, so she's in her early 40s despite her new hair color. She's 7 years younger than Varian and around the same age as Arthas.
Anduin, is that you? I can't believe how much you've grown.
Aunt Jaina, if you're holding back for my sake, don't.
Jaina considers Anduin her nephew, and Anduin calls her Aunt Jaina. They're not related by blood in any way, but since Varian was one of her closest friends, and she's known him since he was a baby, it's just very sweet.
That ought to set you back a bit.
She says this when killing Kel'Thas sometimes, and him saying that
Tempest Keep was merely a setback.
In the Magistus Terrace dungeon sparked a wave of blank was merely a setback memes. Jaina was planned to die as part of the main story in Warcraft 3, but the idea was scrapped because Arthas didn't need any more motivation to chase after Mal'Ganis. Jaina's and Arthas' love story was also supposed to be in-game, but instead was made into a book, and Jaina was also planned to become a Banshee, but it was too similar to Raynor and Kerrigan from StarCraft, so that was scrapped and given to Sylvanas Windrunner instead.
I'm sorry, what? Thrall and me? Ugh, who keeps spreading that filthy rumor? Besides, everyone knows I prefer blue over green. Not to mention the last two men who sought my attention both tried to take over the world. Yeah, I think I'd rather just study.
A popular meme is that Jaina and Thrall are an item. A punch card item in the Gnomeregan dungeon even read, Thrall and Jaina sitting in a tree, Kissing, when decoded. Arthas and Kel'Thas went off the deep end, and Calicos is a member of the Blue Dragonflight.
Sure is nice to get outside once in a while. Feels like I've been cooped up in a tower for years.
For 4 years in WoW and 2 years in lore, she's been in her tower in Theramore.
Things are starting to get a little weird.
So forget what I said before. Now is when things are getting weird. I mean, I saw a dwarf made of candy earlier.
Jaina has a sea shanty-style folk song dedicated to her, referring to her childhood nickname. It's an absolute banger, sung in part by Jaina's voice actress Laura Bailey.
Why this, so daughter of the sea? Why this, did she forget her seaside days? Always the pride of our nation's eyes. How could she go astray?
Beware, beware, the daughter of the sea. Beware, beware of me.
Jaina, in my opinion, one of the best mages you can buy. She's always been really balanced, never really truly OP. She's just right. So really, there's nothing you can do wrong with her. She has damage, she has CC, she has wave clear, and she has survival tools. She's easy to pick up, hard to master. I love her. She's my favorite mage in the game, aside from Li Ming. Her trait is Frostbite. Jaina's abilities chill targets, slowing them by 25%, and amplifying damage taken from her abilities by 50%, lasts 4 seconds. She has a baseline quest to deal 15,000 ability damage to chilled heroes. It unlocks her improved Ice Block ability, allowing her to temporarily become invulnerable. This trait makes her a menace for heroes that need to stick to their target. She can easily kite someone around. Her increased ability damage from chill also applies to structures. It doesn't count towards the quest, but if you use an ability on structures, subsequent abilities will crit. Also bosses and cams, so really, this trait is just pretty good. Her Q is Frostbolt, straight line skill shot. The only thing is that the hitbox of the impact missile is slightly larger than it appears, so you can be on the edge of the Frostbolt and still get clipped by it. Her W is Blizzard. Bombard an area with 3 waves of ice, dealing 142 damage each. Damaged enemies are chilled. This used to be 2 waves until they made it 3. You don't need to blow your entire set of spells on a minion wave. You just wait for them all to be clumped up, cast 1 blizzard, and they should all die to it. So you can easily rotate between lanes, cast a blizzard on a pretty good clumped up group of minions, and just leave, because if you do it right, they should all die and you will get credit for the XP. Sometimes when I'm in a hurry, I just use this and follow up with a Cone of Cold just to nuke them all down real quick. It's also a great zoning tool because people obviously don't want to stand in it, so sometimes I just put it down in choke points. Her E is Cone of Cold. Deal 220 damage and chill targets. It's obviously cone shaped. It's shorter, it's much shorter than her other spells. It's more like in a melee-ish range. Usually when I have someone in melee range, this is the first spell I go to because it's easier to hit, because of its large spread than your Frostbolt. So you can easily chill someone on your ass with Cone of Cold instead of your Frostbolt or your Blizzard. And it becomes an important, really, really important spell later in the build I'm using usually. Her first heroic is Ring of Frost. After a 1.5 second delay, create a Ring of Frost in an area that deals 310 damage and roots enemies for 3 seconds. The ring persists for 3 seconds afterwards, chilling any enemies who touch it. I gotta point this out because I made this mistake too when I was a newbie Jaina, and I think everyone makes this mistake at one point in their life as Jaina. Bruh. It's called Ring of Frost. It's a ring! The inner circle, the inner radius, does nothing unless you take the level 20 upgrade. Enemies in the inner radius are not affected by the root or the slow or the damage at all. The inner radius is a safe space. So if you're going up against the Jaina, instead of running out, trying to run out, you can just stay in the middle and then run out. You're gonna get chilled from the outer ring, but you're not gonna take any damage and you're not gonna be rooted. And if you're playing Jaina, make sure you aim with the outer ring. It's extremely powerful when paired with a Void Prison Zeratul. If the Zeratul is any good with his VPs, and you've been playing for quite a while, you can pretty much in your head take down when VP is gonna stop and time your Ring of Frost exactly to root them all in place, and then you just nuke them. It's the best feeling in the world when you have a good VP Zeratul on your team and then you just take Ring of Frost. This also works for Mosh Pit ETC or good Hanzo Arrow, any kind of CC that you can follow up with on Ring of Frost. Because of its delay, it's usually better to follow up with Ring of Frost than to initiate with Ring of Frost, but I've had some good initiates as well, if you're playing quick match and it's pretty much your only CC. Her second heroic is Summon Water Elemental. Summons a water elemental at the target location. The water elemental's basic attacks deal 62 damage, splash for 25% damage, and chill. The ability can be reactivated to retarget the water elemental, lasts 20 seconds. You can also retarget the elemental while you're dead. This used to be a meme heroic, no one would take water elemental, it just sucked, but then they buffed it. So now feel free to pick water elemental and not get made fun of. It is actually really, really good, and I think it has a higher win % than Ring of Frost, because it's just easier to use, I guess. You have to make sure you use it in the right comp. Versus a Rainer, Vala, Lunara, anyone who can do a lot of single target, like high damage, and can just nuke the elemental in like 2 seconds or something, you don't want to pick the elemental versus them. Unless you're in kind of like Wood League and they don't know to kill the elemental, then you're fine. But in higher leagues, in higher MMR, your water elemental will get killed quickly. The chill damage from your water elemental also contributes to your quest. Improved ice block on your 1 just makes Jaina invulnerable for 2.5 seconds, and after it expires, nearby enemies are chilled. Enemies can see when Jaina has her quest completed if her staff glows. Or, you know, just checking the talent pane, but if you don't do that frequently, her staff will glow if she has her ice block. Yo dog, I gotta tell this to everyone who has an invulnerability talent. You can end that shit early, you know? Like, you don't need to stay in the full 2.5 second duration, because then you're just a sitting duck most of the time. So sometimes you can juke people out by deactivating it early and then leaving, because they usually expect you to sit there for the whole 2.5 seconds. So for talents, pretty much all of them are pretty equal. As I said, Jaina is very, very balanced. All of her talents are pretty much the same, but there's 2 distinct builds that I go with personally. One is the quote-unquote ranked build, and the other one is the quick match build. The quick match build focuses more on survival. The quote-unquote ranked build focuses more on damage and CC. With this particular build, you'll also be able to 100-0 combo most assassins and come pretty close to killing tanks. I think Fingers of Frost is the best talent, even though Lingering Chill has the highest win rate, I think. I still prefer Fingers of Frost because it helps with your mana management, I like collecting globes, and the 10% extra bonus damage to Frostbite stacks additively to what you already have. Frost Shards if there's more than one target you want to hit, because your Frostbolt will pierce one additional target. Otherwise Arcane Intellect purely for the 10% spell power above 75% mana, so for your first few spells you'll have 10% more damage. Then at level 7, Ice Lance Importante. Hitting a chill target with Frostbolt reduces its cooldown by 1.25 seconds and restores 10 mana. Then at level 10, Ring of Frost. At level 13, Icy Veins. Activate to make Jaina's basic abilities cooldowns recharge 300% faster and reduce their mana cost by 50% for 5 seconds. Numbing Blast. At level 16, Cone of Cold also roots targets for 1 second. The reason why I don't take Northern Exposure is because the damage increase does not stack with itself or other effects like it, and you're gonna need the root. At level 20 it doesn't really matter, usually the upgrade to the Heroic, because Ice Blink has a really short distance, so I don't really find it too useful. It's just a crutch to me if you're still wonky on how to position with Jaina, or you want to pull off some MLG plays, I don't know. Level 20 for the combo that I'm gonna explain doesn't really matter. It'll come online at level 16. If you want to pull off the combo, you gotta be super fast with it. So here's the combo. It is 1 Q R E W Q. You're gonna have to go into practice mode and do this a whole lot if you want to pull it off in quick match. But it's really satisfying if you do. It might seem like a big waste to waste your Ring of Frost like that on one target potentially, but I mean, it's quick match, who cares? It's fun to pull off and just pull a bamboozle on someone, just nuking them out of orbit like that. For the quick match build, I prioritize staying alive rather than dealing the maximum amount of damage that I could possibly can on Jaina. At level 1, still Fingers of Frost. At level 4, Frost Armor. At level 7, this used to be a meme talent. No one would take this talent. Everyone was a doubter, but I picked it from the very beginning because I'm bad. But fuck you, it's good now. Ice Fury Wand. Basic attacks against chill targets deal 50% bonus damage and reduce the cooldown of Blizzard by 1.25 seconds. Doubled against enemy heroes. This used to only work on heroic targets and also not give cooldown reduction on Blizzard. So why would I take it? Well, because in quick match you see a lot of Tracer, Genji, and I just think weaving in auto attacks is some of the best builds you can do. People underestimate auto attacks for some reason and just go for spells that they don't know how to hit. Like, your auto attacks, if they don't have a blind, will land all the time if you stutter step. That's why I used to pick it. It was guaranteed damage against those annoying fucking Tracers. But now they also added that the bonus damage applies to any target, and the cooldown reduction you get from any target, so minion waves, camps, it's chef's kiss. Good talent. Then at level 10, for the quick match build, usually Water Elemental, but as I said, it depends on if they have a Vala, Raynor, Zul'jin, if they know what they're doing and they're actually killing it. The level 20 talent is also chef's kiss. Amazing. At level 13, some Jainas forget that Ice Barrier exists. Gain a shield for 25% of ability damage dealt to chilled targets. This will help reduce the damage you take from camps, so you can take camps more efficiently. The shields gained can stack indefinitely and every instance refreshes the duration. At level 16, Numbing Blast, because the root is just too good. And at level 20 for this build, I always take Winter Mute. It is so good. The Water Elemental will now mimic all your abilities for 50% damage. And that mimic is important. The Water Elemental has its own range. You can send it forward, cast Frostbolt, like 50 yards 2 screens away from the team. If the Elemental is within range and is facing the right direction, it will cast a Frostbolt and it will hit your target that you are looking at. It makes sense when you're playing it. So what I can do is be out of range from someone, cast my Water Elemental, cast Frostbolt, Have the Frostbolt hit the target. Cast Cone of Cold. It will cast Cone of Cold in its range. And guess what? Your talent still applies from level 16. So you can root a target from like a screen away. And if you cast Blizzard with your Water Elemental, instead of 3 waves, it'll be 6. The abilities cast from the Water Elemental also benefit from Arcane Intellect. You can also take Snowstorm at level 16 if you take Ring of Frost to cover a wider area with your Blizzard if you root multiple people. As I said, her talents are very close. There's not much you can do wrong, really. It just depends on the situation. And that's it. Hopefully everything you wanted to know about Jaina Proudmoore. Thank you for watching. As always, more detailed stuff in the description below. Have some Jaina clips. Enjoy, and I'll see you in the Nexus. Kind of like the shield change on the fountains. At least minions don't take it out in two.
I don't think this Anduin is healed once.
Oh, but you're so bad at Anduin. Oh my god, Anduin can't heal. That's to be expected.
Yeah, Anduin can't heal. Confirmed.
Sounds interesting.
You're just
I thought
spoiled.
You were Anduin.
Oh my god.
I was trying to tell you that comment. I forgot you're not on it.
A Song of Ice and Fire? Or Fire and Fire?
Do I have an ice? I don't think I have an ice. Man, do you know how bad Season 8 was? Jesus Christ.
Yes, I watched it.
Like, I can't even stand Game of Thrones memes after Season 8, you know? It's hard. Except Arya came out on top, I feel like. But then why? I mean, she existed in Season 8, so in that sense she didn't.
Oh
They're
god.
trying to flank me. These dishonorable fucks.
I got you, I think.
I'll take care of it.
I knew they were coming, and I still fucked up.
Oh my fucking god.
You died because you tried to save me.
Yes.
See? What a friend!
No, what a fool.
I can't say friend that way. How do you say friend?
Friend.
Or what is it? Friend.
Friend. Right now I'm saying idiot.
I hope you don't mind the cold. I will freeze you where you stand! You really think I've been running, Captain? Beware, beware of me.
Oh! Hope you don't mind the cold! What else does Jaina say? Oh, beware of me! You forced my hand, beware of me! Ah! Diablo, I'm innocent! Retreat. Beware of me! Beware of me! You're doing fine, probably. Beware me, by the way.
Oh god.
We did it.
We did it.
We did it. My plot armor will keep me alive.
No! You
I got out of my thing! Beware of me, bitch! Oh, look at this ice block! Wow! Don't you dare try to use bloodlust on me!
Killing spree.
Oh god, do I love Jaina?
Hello?
Yeah.
Why not move? Why are you not running? Why are you not running?
Doesn't roll off the tongue, it's so true to do that.
Let us bind these mercenaries to our service. I will
Fight, Zeratul! Oh no, he jumped to you. I didn't even know he could do it. Okay, we got him.
Got him.
Don't you dare go off right with the Void Prison. God damn it!
Get out. We have no shields.
Yes. Good. I'm so glad that you understand how Phoenix works finally.
Whoa.
You're coming with me, buddy.
Slam dunk.
No!
Sounds interesting.
Save the deer! God damn. Now I'm just roadkill. Oh god, Misha!
What's wrong? Afraid of me? My magic will tear you apart. Just where do you think you're going?